The rain had begun again, thin needles tapping against the cracked pavement of Millstone Alley. Detective Owen Harlow's coat clung to his shoulders, cold and damp, but it wasn't the weather that made his spine stiff. Titan, his K-9 partner, refused to leave his side, teeth bared, muscles taut like coiled steel. Something buried beneath the rotten leaves called to the dog, a dark whisper only Titan could hear. Owen had faced killers, fires, and betrayal, but the unease crawling through his gut told him this. What Titan was about to uncover would shatter everything he thought he knew. If you're following Owen and Titan's trail, hit like and subscribe to stay with them as the mystery unfolds. The alley reeked of damp decay and rusted metal, a narrow corridor between buildings that had been abandoned so long even the rats seemed to have left. Owen Harlow's boots crunched over broken glass and soaked leaves, his flashlight cutting through the shadows in jagged beams. Titan pressed against his side, ears rigid, growling low and deep at something unseen. The K-9's amber eyes glinted like molten gold, scanning every inch of the alley, nose twitching at a scent Owen couldn't place. "You're sure about this?" came a voice from behind. Deputy Lena Carver stepped into the alley's fringe, her raincoat soaked, hair plastered to her forehead. Her eyes were sharp but wary. Owen didn't answer at first, scanning the shadows. Something's off. Titan knows it. Can't explain it yet. Carver frowned. It's just an old alley. Could be anything. Rats. Trash, maybe a homeless guy. Titan barked, short and tense, ears swiveling toward a corner where the shadows pooled darkest. Owen froze. He'd known Titan for 8 years. Never had the dog been this insistent, this terrified. Not during shootouts. Not during kidnappings. Not even the night the fire claimed the Harper house. Owen bent low, rubbing Titan's neck. "Easy, boy, easy." But Titan wouldn't move. Instead, he dug a paw into the earth, leaving a smear of mud and wet leaves. Owen's chest tightened. Something was beneath that corner, and Titan wasn't wrong. He knelt, fingers brushing against wet debris, and felt it, a hard, jagged edge under the filth. Heart thudding, he called Carver closer. "Help me clear this." Together, they shoved aside the debris. Titan whined, pawing insistently at a rusted metal hatch buried under leaves and grime. It was small, square, barely more than a foot across, but its edges were sharp, coated in dirt and what looked like dried blood. Owen's stomach twisted. "This isn't right," Carver murmured, stepping back. Owen pried at the hatch with a crowbar, the metal screaming in protest. Titan pressed against him, growling, hackles raised, sensing the tension in the air as if warning him not to go further. With a final grunt, Owen lifted the hatch. Below, a steep crawl space opened into blackness. The smell hit first, rot, mildew, and something more metallic, iron tinge that made his stomach lurch. Titan barked again, pacing the edge. "I'm going down," Owen said, his voice steadier than he felt. He dropped the flashlight into the tunnel first, its beam cutting a thin cone through the dark. The crawl space reeked of secrets, secrets long buried. As he descended, his mind raced. Millstone was small, quiet, the sort of town where everyone knew everyone, yet secrets festered like unseen infections. Who could have hidden something here? And why would Titan, a dog trained for narcotics and explosives, react like this to a simple crawl space? A sound, soft but echoed below. Owen froze, heart hammering. He followed the flashlight's beam. The tunnel widened into a small chamber, barely big enough to stand upright. And then he saw it. A hand, pale, stiff, fingers curled unnaturally, sticking out from the muck. Owen swallowed, suppressing a gag. Titan whined, stepping closer, nuzzling his shoulder. Carver's voice trembled behind him. "Owen, oh God, is that—" "Yes." He swallowed hard, gripping the flashlight like a weapon. "And it's not just anyone." The hand was attached to a body, partially covered by debris, its face hidden. But the clothing— Owen's stomach sank. He recognized it. A jacket torn, soaked in dirt. The kind a local journalist, someone who'd been nosing into Millstone's oldest, darkest stories, would wear. And then he remembered Maxine Voss, missing 3 days ago. Titan growled low, a warning. Owen crouched beside the body, brushing debris from the face. It was her. Eyes closed, mouth slack, the faintest bruising along her jawline. The scene was horrific, but the silence was worse. The way the alley seemed to press in, thick with secrecy and menace. Carver knelt beside him, gloves on, voice tight. Who would do this and why here? Owen shook his head. I don't know yet, but Titan, he wouldn't react like this to just another body. There's something deliberate about this. The K-9 sniffed at the surrounding area, pawing obsessively at the ground near the wall. Owen followed the dog's gaze and noticed faint scratches along the bricks. Someone had hidden this body carefully. Not a random crime of opportunity. This was staged, orchestrated. Someone wanted the discovery to happen, but also not. Owen's mind raced through Millstone's few dark histories. Old rivalries, debts that turned deadly, whispers of the missing and corrupt deals buried under generations of quiet. And now, Maxine was part of it. Carver glanced at him, voice barely above a whisper. Owen, there's something else. The hatch, it looks new. Not just the metal, but the way it was placed, like someone wanted it to be found eventually. Owen's jaw tightened. Or they wanted Titan to find it. He knelt, running a gloved hand over the scratches Titan had indicated. Fingerprints would still be there, or perhaps someone smart enough had worn gloves. But there was a deeper, more pressing truth. Whoever did this knew the dog would lead them here. The alley seemed to close in, the walls whispering secrets only the brave, or the foolish, would listen to. Titan pressed against Owen again, nuzzling, growling at the shadows. His instincts were undeniable. Something or someone was near. Suddenly, a noise, a soft scuff, almost like a whispering footstep against the wet pavement. Owen's breath caught. He raised his flashlight, sweeping the alley. Nothing. But Titan's growl intensified, teeth bared. Stay calm, Owen murmured to the dog, though his own nerves were taut. Stay calm. Carver's phone vibrated. She glanced down, expression hardening. It's the station. They found something else. At the old dock, could be related. Owen's mind went through scenarios fast. Millstone's docks were secluded, often used by smugglers years ago. And now, if Maxine's death connected to that place, the town's secrets were darker than he thought. Titan whined again, pressing against Owen's leg. The K-9's gaze darted down the alley toward the old warehouse end, muscles coiled, ready to bolt. Owen followed the line of sight. Nothing moved, yet Titan's tension was palpable. Something or someone was watching. Owen's gut tightened. This was no ordinary case. It was personal, tangled in years of lies, hidden sins, and betrayals no one outside Millstone would ever suspect. And Titan had sensed it all, long before Owen's human mind could grasp the danger. The storm outside picked up, rain hammering the pavement, alley shadows stretching like dark fingers. Owen bent down, giving Titan a firm pat on the head. All right, boy, let's see where this leads. But stay close. We're not alone here, not by a long shot. Titan barked once, sharp, unwavering, as if acknowledging the unspoken warning. Owen's flashlight flickered, and the shadows seemed to pulse with anticipation. He took a deep breath, heart hammering, knowing that the alley's darkness had only revealed the beginning. Millstone's past was clawing its way to the surface, and it would not let them leave unscathed. The first piece of the puzzle was uncovered, but the picture, horrific, shocking, morally tangled, was only beginning to form, and Titan would not let Owen turn back. The rain had eased, leaving Millstone glistening in a layer of mist that clung to the streets and alleys like a living thing. Detective Owen Harlow parked his car near the old docks. Titan tensed at his side, ears swiveling toward every whisper of the night. The water lapped against rotting wood, sending up a briny mist that stung his lungs. Somewhere beyond the fog, the creak of a boat echoed faintly. Someone or something was waiting. Deputy Lena Carver followed behind, flashlight in hand, rainwater dripping from the brim of her hood. Her jaw was tight, eyes scanning the shadows. You think this connect to Maxine? She asked quietly. Owen didn't answer immediately. Titan's paws left wet prints across the wooden planks, each step deliberate, as if the dog were following a memory only he could feel. I don't know yet, Owen said finally, voice low. But I trust Titan. He wouldn't react this way to just another body. Whatever's down here, it's linked. And it's not finished. The docks were deserted, save for skeletal remains of boats tied loosely to the posts. The air smelled of salt and decay, but beneath it was something else, an acrid tang that reminded Owen of smoke and blood. Titan's growl vibrated through the planks beneath Owen's feet, warning him that the shadows were not empty. A sudden movement caught the corner of Owen's eye, a shadow slipping behind a crane. He tensed. Did you see that? Carver's light swung toward the same spot. Nothing, just a fog curling around rusted metal. Owen exhaled slowly. Someone's here, he said, and they've been waiting for us. Titan's body stiffened, hackles raised. He bolted forward, teeth bared, crashed into fog like a living missile. Owen ran after him, heart hammering. The dog's bark echoed across the water, sharp and demanding. Titan had cornered a figure crouched near a stack of crates. The figure turned, masking the face drenched, hands shaking slightly. Titan barked again, circling, snapping. Owen approached cautiously. Stop! Police! He shouted. The figure froze. Slowly, the hood came down, revealing the face of a man Owen hadn't expected to see. Darren Hale, a local businessman with a reputation that teetered between philanthropy and ruthless manipulation. His eyes widened in recognition and fear. Detective Harlow, Hale said, voice strained. I can explain. Owen's fingers twitched near his gun. Explain what? Maxine Voss in a wet alley, and now you? What the hell is going on, Hale? Hale's gaze darted to Titan, then back to Owen. She got in over her head. Maxine was nosing into things she shouldn't have. I didn't kill her. I promise. But someone wanted her silenced, and I was involved, sort of. I can help you find the person responsible. Please, you have to trust me. Carver frowned, lowering her flashlight slightly. Trust him? After what happened to Maxine, you think we just trust a man whose hands are probably dirtier than this dock? Owen's jaw tightened. Titan sat next to him, growling low but attentive, as if evaluating Hale. The K-9's instincts were flawless. If Hale posed an immediate threat, Titan would have torn him to the ground. Yet the dog hesitated, curious and alert, sensing layers Owen couldn't parse yet. All right, Owen said carefully, his voice cold. You're coming with us. But one wrong move, Hale, and I swear. Hale nodded vigorously. I understand. I'll talk. I'll tell you everything. They led him back toward the car, Titan flanking them like a shadow. The tension was suffocating. Every step seemed to echo with unspoken danger. Owen's mind raced through Millstone's few buried secrets. Hale's wealth and influence had kept him untouchable for years, and now, with Maxine dead, Owen realized how deep corruption ran. Back at the station, Hale told a story layered with half-truths and omissions. Maxine had been investigating a smuggling operation at the docks, an old network that had resurfaced in Millstone, bringing violence and secrecy with it. Hale had known about it, but had tried to distance himself, fearful of the consequences. And the alley? Owen asked, fingers tapping against the table. Titan led me there for a reason. Why? Hale's hand shook. I don't know. I swear, I wasn't there. Maybe she found something she shouldn't have. Maybe someone planted her body there as a warning. Owen's eyes narrowed. A warning to whom? And why lead Titan? Who wanted him to find her? Hale's face paled. I don't know. Titan, ever vigilant, paced the floor, nose twitching. His instincts screamed something Owen couldn't ignore. He watched the dog carefully, realizing that the K-9 wasn't just reacting to bodies or smells. Titan had detected the presence of calculated evil, hidden in plain sight. Hours passed as Owen cross-checked Hale's story with evidence from the alley, fingerprints, and surveillance footage. Nothing lined up perfectly, but a pattern emerged. The smuggling ring had tentacles reaching deep into the town, touching lives and reputations in ways the townsfolk would never suspect. By midnight, Owen drove back toward the alley, Titan alert his side, Carver riding shotgun. Something didn't sit right. The pieces weren't forming a full picture, and the K-9's tension never waned. Titan sniffed the air, ears flat, eyes scanning, as if the darkness itself was whispering a secret. They reached the hatch. Owen crouched, brushing his gloved hand over the metal once more. Titan pawed at it urgently. "Yeah, boy, I get it," Owen muttered. He opened the hatch, flashlight in hand, shining into the darkness below. Nothing, just a small chamber, empty now of Maxine's body, the soil still disturbed. "Someone moved her," Carver said, voice tight, "after we left. But why?" Owen's gut churned. Whoever did this knew the exact timing of their investigation. Someone had been watching, waiting, manipulating every step. And Titan's behavior told him the truth. The manipulator was still close, hiding in shadows, confident in their control. A soft clatter echoed from the far end of the alley. Titan froze. Owen followed the sound, flashlight sweeping. A figure darted behind a dumpster, vanishing almost instantly into the mist. "After him!" Owen shouted. Titan bolted, leaping over crates with fluid precision. Carver followed, gun drawn. They chased the figure through twisting alleyways, rain-slicked streets, and over cracked pavement until the scent disappeared into the fog. Panting, Owen stopped, hands on his knees. Titan growled low, scanning the shadows. Owen's mind raced. The smuggling network, Maxine's death, Hale's half-truths, all pieces of a puzzle that still eluded them. And now, someone had taunted them, showing that the town's darkness was closer, more personal, and far more dangerous than they had imagined. Back at the station, Owen reviewed the evidence again. Titan sat by his side, head resting on Owen's knee. The dog's gaze met his, amber eyes filled with the weight of intuition only he could trust. The room was quiet except for the low hum of fluorescent lights and the faint sound of the storm outside. Owen's phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. "Stop digging or more will die. You don't know the whole story." Owen's hand trembled slightly as he put the phone down. Titan whined softly, nudging his shoulder. It was a reminder. The K-9's instincts were never wrong, and the danger was far from over. Owen looked at Carver. This isn't just smuggling. Someone powerful. Someone who knows every secret in this town, and they're not done yet. Carver nodded grimly. "Then we need to find out who before they strike again." Titan barked sharply, ears forward, tail stiff. He pressed against Owen, growling, as if telling him the next move would be critical. And Owen knew, with a sinking certainty, that the next discovery wouldn't just shock Millstone. It could destroy everything they thought they understood about the town, its people, and even themselves. The fog rolled in thicker, swallowing the docks and alleys like a living thing, and in its embrace, shadows moved, watching, waiting, always just beyond the reach of the flashlight's beam. Owen's hand went to Titan's collar. "Stay close, boy. We're in deeper than we know." And Titan, as always, stayed by his side. The fog hung thick over Millstone, curling around street lamps and seeping into every crevice of the town like a living thing. Detective Owen Harlow's boots echoed against cracked pavement as he followed Titan through the winding alleys near the docks. The K-9's growls were low, deliberate, warning and guide combined. Owen's pulse matched the dog's rhythm. Each beat a drum of anticipation and dread. "They're here," Titan seemed to say with every step, ears swiveling, body taut. Deputy Lena Carver's flashlight illuminated the damp walls, revealing graffiti peeled by rain, rust streaks running down brick like tears. "You sure about this?" she whispered. "Feels like walking straight into a trap." Owen didn't answer immediately. The air smelled metallic, the lingering scent of old blood, and wet earth mixed with salt from the nearby river. Titan pawed at the ground, nose pressed low, then barked sharply, spinning toward a narrow opening between two warehouses. Owen tightened his grip on his flashlight, heart hammering. He followed. Inside the alley, a single light flickered from an old metal door, casting the shadows of crates across the wet bricks. Titan froze, hackles raised, growling low. Owen's breath came shallow, hands trembling slightly as he approached. Someone was waiting. The door creaked open, revealing Darren Hale. But this time, the mask of fear and helplessness was gone. Instead, A cold smirk played across his face, eyes glinting with a malice Owen hadn't noticed before. "You followed the dog," Hale said, voice smooth, almost amused. "I should have guessed. Clever boy." He gestured to Titan. "I wondered how long it would take for you to realize what was happening." Owen's hand went to his gun, Titan stepping ahead. "Hale, what the hell is going on? Why Maxine? Why the body in the alley?" Hale's smirk deepened. "Because someone needed to learn. Maxine learned too much. She wasn't careful. She asked questions about people who don't like being asked about. And now you're learning, detective. Some truths are dangerous." Titan growled louder, teeth bared, sensing the deception. Owen noticed for the first time the faint tremor in Hale's hands. Not fear, but excitement, the thrill of manipulation. "You set her up," Owen said, voice steady but low. "You used the alley, you used Titan, you wanted me to find her body." Hale chuckled softly, stepping closer. "You're smarter than most. But yes, I did. I needed to see who I was dealing with, who would come for the truth. And now, I know." Owen's stomach twisted. He glanced at Carver. Her eyes were wide, gun trained on Hale, but she remained silent, understanding that the trap was psychological as well as physical. Titan barked, darting forward, then skidded to a halt. Owen followed the dog's gaze to the side. Another figure, half hidden in the shadows. A woman stepped into the light. Her face was familiar. Marianne Cross, Millstone's councilwoman, Hale's political ally. But her eyes... Owen's stomach sank. Beneath the careful facade of public service was something colder, sharper. "You underestimated us," she said softly, voice carrying a threat in its calmness. "Maxine wasn't careful, and neither were you, Owen. The town has rules, unspoken but deadly. You just walked across them." Owen's mind raced. The betrayal was complete. Hale was the face, but Marianne was the mind. They had orchestrated Maxine's death, the staged alley, everything. And Titan had led Owen here, sensing the danger, exposing the treachery. "You think you're untouchable," Owen said, voice rising. "But Titan sees the truth, and I'm not blind. You're going down." Marianne smiled thinly. "Perhaps. Or perhaps you'll join the list of those who got too close." Suddenly, Hale lunged, pulling a knife from under his coat. Titan reacted instantly, leaping forward, teeth snapping, claws digging into the wet pavement. Owen fired his gun. 2 shots rang out, echoing to the foggy alley, hitting Hale's shoulder. Hale fell, growling, blood mingling with rainwater. Marianne screamed, lunging at Owen with ferocious speed. Carver blocked her. A struggle ensued, fists and adrenaline colliding, the metallic taste of fear and anger filling the air. Titan barked and circled, guarding Owen and Carver, snarling at Marianne with primal intensity. In the chaos, Owen noticed a faint outline of another hatch near the base of the wall, smaller than the one in the alley. Titan darted toward it, pawing furiously. Owen realized Marianne must have been using the second hidden access, perhaps another hiding place, perhaps another secret. Carver managed to pin Marianne to the ground. "It's over," she shouted, adrenaline shaking her voice. Marianne struggled, but Owen could see the calculating mind behind her eyes. She wasn't just angry. She was terrified of exposure. Titan whined once, nudging Owen toward the hatch. Owen opened it with shaking hands. Inside was a cache of evidence. Documents, ledgers, photographs, and video recordings. Proof of the smuggling ring, bribery, murders, and 100 other sins buried under Millstone's serene surface. The network Marianne and Hale had woven was intricate, dangerous, and widespread. "You see," Owen said, holding a folder up, "Titan brought us to the truth. Every secret, every betrayal, it's all here, and no one can hide it anymore." Marianne's eyes flickered between Owen and Titan, realizing the K9 had unraveled everything. Hale groaned from the ground, hand clutching his shoulder, eyes narrowing in fury. You don't understand. This was supposed to protect Millstone. We were keeping it safe." Owen shook his head. "Safe? You killed to protect your power, your wealth. Maxine died because you couldn't face the truth. And now you'll face the law." Carver cuffed Marianne, reading her rights. Owen surveyed the scene, Titan sitting alert, eyes scanning the shadows, the rain mist swirling around them. The alley had shifted from a place of death to a place of revelation, and the town's hidden sins were finally exposed. Hours later, at the precinct, Owen sat with Titan at his side. The dog rested his head on Owen's knee, amber eyes softening, almost human in their understanding. Carver filed reports, phone calls ongoing as Hale and Marion were transported. The storm had passed, leaving Millstone eerily quiet, almost peaceful, yet tinged with the memory of betrayal, fear, and death. Owen ran a hand down Titan's neck. "We did it, boy. You were right, as always." Titan thumped his tail once, resting his head against Owen's chest, silent, loyal, unshakable. In the weeks that followed, the town slowly absorbed the revelations. Families whispered, reputations crumbled, and justice, messy and painful, began to take root. Owen watched the sunrise over Millstone, feeling the weight of everything they'd uncovered. The town wasn't safe, not yet, but the truth had a power no darkness could fully erase. And Titan remained at his side, unwavering. The K-9 had refused to leave, not out of fear or obedience, but because he sensed responsibility, the moral clarity that Owen sometimes lacked. Together, they had unearthed the darkness beneath Millstone, faced betrayal and power, and emerged scarred, wiser, and indelibly bound. Owen exhaled, letting the morning light wash over him. He looked down at Titan. "No matter what comes next, we face it together. Always." Titan nudged him, a small, knowing gesture. In the quiet aftermath, the bond between man and dog felt like more than loyalty. It was a living testament to courage, intuition, and the fragile yet indomitable power of truth. The town of Millstone would never forget the alley, the K-9, or the secrets that had been dug up, and neither would Owen. As the fog lifted, Titan sat at Owen's side, vigilant, silent, the unsung hero of a story written in shadows, courage, and unbreakable trust.